Evening, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts. Welcome to another episode of the Bigger Picture at the Throne Room. And today we have the pleasure and the honor of P. Supreme Jr., the son of Mr. Supreme Kenneth McGriff. How are you this
I'm
evening?
amazing. I'm amazing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
It's an
much.
honor.
It's an honor for
I
you to
love
be
this. I
here.
love this decor and the ambiance and the setup. I wish I was sitting on a throne chair, but it's cool.
No, this is the
It's
throne
cool.
for one.
It's cool.
This is throne for
I
one.
just act like this is a throne, a white throne.
Well, actually, that is the seat of the esteemed. So anyone that sits in that chair is mostly honored.
This not the hot seat, is it?
It is not the
Okay,
hot
cool.
seat. There are no seats here with temperatures. That is the
Gotcha.
esteemed and respected seat. And you are most welcome to be in it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So let's start from the beginning. I've done some research and I know that you are not only what the picture shows, you actually had a parochial school education.
Absolutely. From the very, very beginning, from pre-K, I was in Catholic school. So I had like a strict upbringing. It was very structured. It was very I never got out of bounds. I never strayed away. Like my mom had a vision for me and she wanted to make sure like I didn't stray away from her vision of what she wanted. It worked out, I think, because, people tell me I'm well versed, I'm, intellectual and all those things, but sometimes whether it's a parent or a friend or whoever, sometimes their vision for you isn't the vision that's for you. You get what I'm saying? But I definitely feel like, yeah, since pre-K, I was in private school, Catholic school.
Have you ever been to a public school setting?
I wouldn't be able, no, I wouldn't even be able to tell you where public school was, how it looks on the inside. Never.
Well, as a parochial school educated person, also from kindergarten all the way up to 10th grade, where I was expelled from a very all girls prestigious Catholic school, I can say you didn't miss a damn thing from my school.
You know what's a funny thing too?
Tell
I
me.
never even told a lot of people this. I didn't see a project building inside of a project building until I was probably around 16, 17. I didn't even see the inside of a project building until I was 16 or 17.
Take us to that moment. What was that like?
It was cool.
Like an adventure?
Yeah, it's like something that you never seen before. It's like the pissy hallways, the pissy elevators, the graffiti on the wall, the writings on the wall. Like, I'm like, this ain't so bad, you know?
The sights and the smells.
Yeah.
And the sounds.
The three S's. Oh, we missing one, but I don't want to say that on camera.
You can. This is a free forum and a safe space, so that is absolutely fine. Tell me one of the best things about your childhood.
I had a lot of fun growing up. Being like in the city, I loved it. A kid in the city is just like a kid in a candy store, really. Like, it's just so much to do, so much to see. I'm a sightseer. Like, a lot of a lot of people don't know about me either. Like, I'm a big like sightseer, and like I love being outside. I love walking into new things, new discoveries, and like that's the city for you. My school was right around the corner from Times Square, so it was like I would leave out of my school and just be right in the middle of the Mecca. So it's like, it was amazing. I loved getting out of school, traveling, walking in the city from Times Square. My mother was working on 34th Street, so that radius right there is like the Mecca. It's fast, hustle and bustle. Like, I loved it. I loved it. But my friends, the people I grew up with, they was cool. I was mostly the only person from Queens going to the school in the city, so it was like, like they had to fill me out a little bit before they embraced me, but it didn't take long because, I have that addictive personality. I feel like people just gravitate towards me. whatever reason it is, but they do. So I didn't really have a hard school time, you know? Some kids might get bullied, some kids might, go through a rough spell, some kids' grades might not be good. I was like, school was my thing until it wasn't my thing.
Mm. Did you play sports or
Yeah,
any
baseball,
active?
my whole life.
Baseball. What position?
I was left field and center field.
Nice.
Yeah, my whole life.
Nice. Nice.
I tried to be like Derek Jeter and play shortstop, but yeah, they put me in the outfield.
It's okay. You were active. You was involved. You was engaged.
Yeah.
There's a lot of character development that comes with sports, especially when you're coming from a very structured educational environment, such as parochial school. If a person never been to parochial school, they don't understand what that structure is like, where failure is not an option. That you're not only living up to the expectations of your parents, but the expectation of the culture of the school. Excellence is the expectation.
Absolutely.
And I can clearly see that demonstrated in your articulation, your posture, and the way you present yourself. So gold star to your mom for making that happen.
Definitely hats off to Mama Love.
Absolutely. So when you would come home from school, who's home? Because mom's a career woman. Was it just you and your mom?
Just
Do you
me and
have
my
siblings?
no siblings. It was just me and her. And my grandmother stayed in the basement to probably like I was maybe 10. Then she moved into her own spot, but yeah, it's just me and my mother. And I would sneak downstairs to the basement early Saturday mornings because my grandmother would make me breakfast, and I didn't want to go to the mall with my mother because I know if I was at that mall with her, we would be there all day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to do that. So I would sneak downstairs, and then my mother would call my grandmother, he up? And I'd be like this to my grandma, like, so my grandmother would laugh at me and say, nah, he sleep. And, she would go to the mall and be gone, and me and my grandmother, that's my dog.
Those are your rocks.
Yeah.
Those are your rocks. The mountains.
Yeah.
That you
I like
climb,
I like that. They the mountains, yeah.
Exactly, the mountains. What was your concept of a father at that time?
My mother. Yeah, my mother and my grandmother. All the men were gone. I tell people that all the time, like, TV, that's like when fathers leave so early on in a boy's life, I feel like the father figures become characters, like maybe a TV character, maybe a coach on your team, maybe a co-worker of your mother, but like it's not one 24/7. So your mom and your grandmother or your aunts or your cousins they all like gotta pour in, and they all that poured in becomes the male figure, I guess, or whatever we deem as a male figure. So yeah.
And I think a lot of young men, especially the 90s babies, can relate to that because during the 90s, which was Giuliani time, Pataki time, we watched an entire generation removed, not just from the blocks, but from the community, from the homes, from the lives. And there were children that were left.
Behind, yep.
And that left definitely a hole. And I think a lot of young men can absolutely relate to that because that has been their experience.
Face, am I looking here or at her? Okay, got you. We can edit that out.
It's cool. It's cool. When you think about that period, if there was there a moment where you started to think about a dad, a father?
No, I never felt like, that famous saying, you can't miss what you never had, or,
Right.
so I never really, like I said, my grandmother was my best friend, so, and I had people to kind of keep my mind off of it, like my friends or like, family members, like you can't miss what you never had. So I don't really feel like I was one of those people that was like, Mom, when's dad's coming home? Or Mom, when's my uncle? Like I never was like that. I just was loving life. I was enjoying my life. Like even from a young kid, I really never let too much discourage me or like get me down. Like I never, like when people talk to me about depression and stuff like that, like I'm empathetic to them because I can understand where somebody's coming from. Like I can remove myself and understand them, but I need people to break that down for me, like depression and anxiety, because I don't really think I ever dealt with that.
Mm.
Like I can't say I had a hard grown upbringing, childhood. Like my mother gave me everything I needed and wanted, so it was kind of like I didn't really want for anything.
You weren't missing any parts.
I didn't feel like I was missing anything to probably teenage years. But I mean, now my uncles and all of them is coming home. So like, soon as I felt like I feel like God always protected me or like kept me sane, because the moment I felt like I needed a male figure, my uncles started coming home. I started being around my male cousins more. So like anytime a void was happening, it would always automatically just be filled. So yeah.
In God's time, divine time.
Mm-hmm.
At the time you needed it, not at the time
When
you wanted it.
Exactly.
Excellent, excellent.
Exactly.
What was that experience like when you were introduced to your father, who he was, the power that was connected with him, some of the subtle and not so subtle hatred, from the naysayers,
Mm-hmm.
the outsiders, and some insiders? What was that like?
That's another thing that I never really felt, like um the hatred or like the negative aspects or connotations that's associated with him. I never really felt the brunt of that either. Like it always was admiration and reverence and love, and like I never heard anybody say anything bad about him. Like literally, I never heard any, from my mom to family to his peers to people in the streets that knew who I was, to the barbers to the trash men, to I never heard anybody say anything bad about him. So I'm just like, he was just like um a polarizing figure. He was almost like a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know superheroes. Like you just see them on TV or you hear about them. So like he was like one of those type of figures. And then when I found out who he was I tell that story every time, on all the time, the famous barbershop story. But I was going to the barbershop and his friends would, talk to me and give me money and take me shopping and all that stuff. And, I came home and asked my mother, who's this guy that keeps saying I'm his son? Like, why does everybody keep saying that? They giving me like, and then she broke it down for me. She explained it. But when I finally had our first conversation was just like smiles and cheeses, like, because I'm talking to the superhero that everybody was telling me about. So that was that first encounter and first interaction. I'm talking to a superhero.
And how often do we get that opportunity in this life?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's very scarce and rare.
Superheroes are mystical figures. They're revered in so many ways, but there's not too many that get up close and personal that really see the woman or the man of the superhero without all the accolades.
I mean, I feel like our moms are superheroes too.
Absolutely.
But in the regards and with how it relates to him, yeah, it was cool knowing that my dad was this person.
Does it feel cool now?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. I think some feelings is never gonna stop. It's never gonna go away. Like, yeah.
I think when children are very powerful, men in particular, we don't have too many historical instances of powerful women that are revered in that way, not in modern times, maybe in the arts or in entertainment, but not in business. I think children of very powerful men, there's almost a catch-22 because there is such an expectation, but the expectation and the participation don't always align.
Mm-hmm.
And the world is very judgmental
Absolutely.
and ignorant of what that experience is really like.
I feel like ignorant is the perfect word for the world.
We agree.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's a burden. It's a humongous burden, and it's overwhelming. I tell people that all the time, like, yo, and you know another thing that I don't like when people say, oh, if I was in your position or if that was my fault, like,
I find
bro,
that so
bro,
despicable.
you don't want my life, bro. My life is amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you couldn't handle what I've been through in my life. Like, stop, bro. God made you that person's son for a reason. He knew that I would be able to deal with it and know how to handle being this person's son because, yeah. But you, cut it out. Be happy that your father was a post office worker.
Correct.
Respectfully.
Respectfully.
And some people say I'm arrogant, like when I'm just gonna break it down to the simplest form so you can understand what I'm saying. Cause if like you're not gonna get it. So I have to break it down for you like that. And I have to be animated when I'm telling you too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hate when people tell me that. Man, you supposed to be this or man, I wish. Stop wishing, cause it's not gonna come true. So you might as well stop wishing.
My nana used to say, wish in one hand, shit in the other.
That sounds like a down south saying my grandmother would have said.
She's from the South.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a subtle and quiet jealousy.
Definitely.
And sometimes it's not so subtle because to say if that was mine, but it's not.
That's very envious.
It's very it shows exactly the energy that's coming with that statement. Because the truth of the matter is all powerful fathers' children have the same dynamic. Securing their own. Especially if that parent was successful in the underground economy. I like to call it the underground economy because that's what it is.
That's the first time I heard that one.
That's what it is.
That's
what it is.
That's
It's
the
an
first
economy
time. The
nonetheless.
underground economy.
There's profits, there's losses, there's supply, there's demand, there's organization.
I love that.
Okay.
That was smooth.
That's what it is.
Underground economy.
The catch is the other families in the generations before, particularly the Italians and the Irish, was able to transition that money into longevity.
Businesses,
right?
Yeah.
And the seizures wasn't as diligent as they became when our people began to accumulate wealth in the same way.
Of course.
There's no difference in pharmaceutical sales than there was in prostitution and bootlegging. It's the same.
Exactly.
Clientele is the same. There wouldn't be a record industry without the underground economy. Because let's be honest, the servants, the railroad workers, the domestics, they did not have the means to invest in those businesses.
Exactly.
People that had the means to invest in those businesses
was the people in the underground economy.
Exactly. So I think, when people pass judgment and don't treat it with the same respect as any other business, I think it's very foolish.
Yeah.
This is America. We were built on criminality. I repeated this when I interviewed Sean Bigga. The Boston Tea Party wasn't full of waltz and violins. It was a gangster, kick behind, open rebellion. And that's why in America we love guns.
And violence. And street culture.
And we cheer on the bad guy.
Yeah. I love villains.
We love the villains.
You see what I got tattooed on my hand? I love villains.
Oh, and he is a very dichotomous villain as well, the Joker.
People, when I was younger, people used to compare me to him.
Why is that?
I have no idea. But if I was to give an answer for them, because he came up in the chaos, he understood chaos and he knew how to manipulate chaos, right? So I feel like it was almost a compliment when they, because he's a smart man.
Very.
Because a smart man can play a fool, but a fool can't play a smart man. So I feel like the Joker is like that, and I feel like that's also me. So, and everything is a motive behind everything. Like very strategic. He just knows how to. He's just very meticulous. Like I feel like it's not a bad thing to be called the Joker. Some people might take it as an insult, but I never look at it as an insult. Like I am.
Do you feel like the Joker today?
Yeah, I don't think I definitely evolved and matured, but they say you never stray too far away from what you are. So yeah, very chaotic, but I know how to control the chaos though.
What is chaos to you?
Chaos is pushing people's buttons, letting people push your buttons to a certain extent. Chaos is seeing the world and not accepting it, but understanding it and know how to maneuver in it. Chaos is, not burning in the fire, but illuminating in the fire. Chaos is very. I think chaos is necessary. Chaos is chaos is definitely necessary.
Without chaos, I don't think we would know what nirvana is.
Exactly. That's like yin and yang. And I also have that tattooed on me too, the yin and the yang. Because everything in life is yin and the yang. You got good, you got bad. You got tall, you got short. You got everything in life is yin and yang. Everything.
That's the balance.
Everything in life is about the yin and yang.
That's good. What are some of the lessons you learned before you met your dad that you still hold dear now?
None. I think once I met him, once we started talking, I feel like that's when all the lessons started happening. I don't really feel like I had any like lessons or teachings that stuck with me. But once I met him, it felt like everything just made sense. Like I'm not. Matter of fact, I learned how to be a generous human from my mother. My mother was very giving to a lot of people. She was very like, take the shirt off her back and give it to somebody. She was very like, she was like a sacrificial person. Like she would sacrifice herself for somebody else. So that's a lesson I learned. Not to know how to be used, but not be misused, because I watched people misuse her. So she didn't know how to kind of like differentiate being used and being misused. So me just observing what was going on, that's a lesson I learned. To know that, being used is not a bad thing. Just don't let nobody misuse you. So that's one of the things that stuck with me. Definitely.
And from your dad was one of the lessons you've learned that you still hold and practice today?
Never be too trusting. Never be too trusting, because every smiling face isn't really happy for you.
When hyenas are in motion of attack, it sounds like they're laughing and smiling. And I think a lot of that goes over a lot of heads.
It does.
That you have to watch the eyes. The eyes never lie. The smile can be as bright as a GE bulb, 100 watt, but those eyes are as dead as a fish on the side of the road.
1,000,000%.
Very important
1,000,000%.
lessons. What is the dominant untruth that people believe about you? That's just completely untrue.
Mm, that's a good one. That's a good one. Dominant untruth. I mean, I'm not really one of those people that for lack of a better term, read the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't faze me because I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm comfortable in my skin. You know, what is I don't know. I think people's perception of me
Mm-hmm.
is I help give them that perception based upon how I choose to talk or act in a certain space or a particular time or a certain interview or a certain post. But like I said, I know how to control the chaos. Like I feel like if you're basing your assessment of me on what I project or what I put out, then you playing right into my hands. Because I can be this person Monday and be this person Tuesday and be this person Wednesday, and then your brain is you're gonna explode because you can't keep up with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I like, I just like playing with people sometimes. But I can't. I gotta. Let me. You gotta let me think about that. That was a
Come back
that
to
was
it.
that was a one from that was a curveball right there. I like that one. I like that one. That was a good one. Yeah. We gotta come back to that one. Maybe ask me that at the end of this. I'll have it
We'll come
answer.
back to it.
Yeah. But I
We'll
love
come
that
back
question
to it.
though.
What are you most proud of in this moment?
Being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Being alive. Just I feel like every year I'm transcending. I'm progressing. I'm evolving. So. If you're in the same place you was 5 years ago,
No growth.
you just wasted 5 years. So that's what I'm most proud of and just happy about now is just that I'm so young, but I have an old soul. Like my grandmother always, like her people or her church friends or my mom and her, they always say, yo, even when I can always remember them saying this when I was a kid, like he got an old soul, like he been here before. Like, older people always say that. So I just feel like if people love talking to me because they say I'm a great listener and I give great advice. So I'm happy that I'm able to help people, and I just like helping people, whether it can be with words, whether it can be with actions, whether I just like helping people. I like when people say, you know what, yo, you made a lot of sense. Like you just helped me out so much. Like thank you.
Mm.
And I like when I'm walking in the street and a random person to say, God bless you. Like that means so much to me because like I just love hearing that. It means a lot. Like the small things mean a lot to me. That's a good answer to that question. People think that I love the glitz and the glamour, but it's really the small things that mean the most to me. The small gestures mean the most to me. So that's the answer to your question. We don't got to say that to the end.
I think the smaller gestures are more authentic
Mm-hmm.
than the ones that are, grand.
Mm-hmm.
I think the grander the gesture, the bigger the distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really cool. Tell me about the legacy you're building for yourself and your family now. Your plans.
Yeah. As far as legacy, excuse me, I don't even think that right now in this particular moment I fully understand legacy.
Mm.
Right now, this spot that I'm in my life right now, I'm just head down, just working. Pause. For all the pauses out there. Yeah, I'm just working. Like, sometimes when you have a mission or a goal or something that you're trying to get to, like I feel like if you just get to work, you're not gonna focus on what that thing is you're trying to get to or the process. If you just work, you just one day you'll see the finish line. So I'm not really so much worried about the finish line or legacy. I'm just worried about the work in between, and then we can get to all that once once it's time for it. But I'm just focused on working right now. Working.
Tell us about some of the projects you're
Yeah,
working on
just
right now.
just working. I love constantly being on the camera, so yeah, TV shows, documentaries are in the works right now. I'm writing a book.
Nice.
Yeah, but I don't really have a release date for the book because I feel like every week or every month something else happens, and I'm like, oh, I gotta put that in the book too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a clothing brand. I'm styling a lot of people, helping a lot of artists. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a manager. I'm a liaison. I broker deals together. I'm like the ultimate middleman. Like I put so much in a good way though. I put a lot of things together in emotion that if I never told you I did that, you wouldn't even know. But I like it like that. I want to have the mystique and I want to be in the camera. You get what I'm saying? But just because I'm in the camera don't mean I'm gonna tell you about the mystique. So, it's a lot of stuff I do behind the scenes. Yeah, just I guess, stay tuned, man. There's never a dull moment in my life, so the people will always be entertained. Never a dull moment.
I think there's a peace that comes with being behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, because
There's a
I'm a
peace.
person that has done both. I've been and I like I like directing more,
Mm.
but I enjoy being in the camera more, if that makes sense. Because I'm made for the camera, like, you know, I'm just made for the camera.
I could totally see you in front, but I do think you're insightful enough and visual enough to be behind the camera as far as production.
Balance.
Yes, which is a great balance. Um, Put these three things in order: love, power, respect. Put them in a hierarchy.
I'm gonna say power first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that respect and that love one always is like a hard one to kind of like put those two in like order. I'm definitely gonna say power first.
Mm.
Um, and it's gonna alternate for me. One day it might be love, one day, but I'm gonna say just to answer your question, I'm gonna say power, respect, and then love.
Mm.
Cause and the reason I put love third is because matter of fact, how long did you think about these questions, man? These are some good questions.
About 10 minutes.
See my Cause then I wanna just retract that whole thing and put love first because I love love
Mm.
and there's no love like real love and like oh man like I have a lot of different personalities. I don't know if you could tell, but yeah, one of
But
my
you're not a Gemini. That's
that's crazy.
hilarious.
One of my personalities is telling me that love is first,
Mm.
right? And then my other personality is telling me that power is first.
Mm. Maybe they're married.
Because some people love power.
Mm.
So, and
Well,
I
and
think
the
if you
power
have
of
power,
love.
or the power of love, yeah. So I think they do go hand in hand. And then respect, I feel like if somebody love you, they gotta kind of respect you, right?
Mm.
I feel like if they love you, 'cause I don't really think you can respect somebody and not love them, you know? So
I
it's
think they
weird.
would be polar
You
opposites.
think so?
I don't think you could love without respect. I think respect is definitely woven into the foundation of love.
What's your order?
I can't tell you that.
Why not?
I tell
Oh,
you
only
my one is love.
okay.
Love first.
Okay. Love conquers all. You one of
Love
the
first.
okay.
Absolutely love first.
Yeah,
Love nurtures everything else.
definitely.
Without it, the power means nothing. Can't even enjoy it. You're kind of slowly eroding
Mm,
because power is not enough to sustain the soul.
mm. You, yo, let me tell you something. You deep. You deep. I love it. I'm glad I came. I'm glad I showed up, cause this you dropping them jewels, man. What's the name? What's the name? The Bigger Picture? That's the name of this, right? The Bigger
Yeah.
Picture? Cause I feel like it could be so many different names. But I like the. I'm not.
Well,
I'm.
one of
I'm.
your
Look. I'm directing right.
personalities
I'm
could-
directing right now. My bad, man. I'm supposed to just be the. My bad. My bad.
Maybe you'll come back and direct one of our episodes.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
I like that.
That'll be really awesome.
Yeah.
You're going back to 1999. You can only bring back one thing. What do you bring back with you?
If I'm right now and then I'm going back,
You
what
go
am I
back to
taking from 2023?
1999. You're
What am
going
I taking?
back.
What am I taking from 2023 and bringing it back there with
No,
me?
you're going to 1999.
And what am I bringing to the future
Yes.
from 1999?
Yes. Is there anything you would bring back?
I mean, I was a small,
was a baby.
yeah. So
He
I
was
mean,
4.
yeah. So it's
But
like
what you have the knowledge you have now.
cell phones.
Cell
Cell phones.
phones.
Yeah, cell phones, without a doubt.
Cell phones.
hmm
Now, how big they was in 1999.
Yeah.
They didn't even have calling plans then. I know, because
Um,
those bills used to be crazy. It was per minute.
I'm trying to think what I would bring from 99 to here. Mm. Yeah, I
It's
don't
a
know.
hard one.
Yeah,
You're
that
going to think
is.
about it
Yeah.
when you leave. Like,
You hitting me with like mad haymakers, like mad haymaker questions.
hey, this one is an easy one.
Okay,
Be
thank you.
president for 30 days.
Mm.
Reparations or nah? And if you say yes, what do reparations look like?
Come on, why you doing this? You talking about that was the easy one.
That is an easy
If
one.
I'm president for 30 days, would I give reparations?
Yes. And if so, what would that look like?
I don't think I would give reparations. And the reason why I wouldn't give reparations is because I feel like 93% of the demographic that would be receiving those reparations
Mm-hmm.
will lose focus and sight of the goal. Because when you're given something, it's just like you forget about everything else. But if you work for it, it'll be there forever. So I would be a hard president, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think people will like, people don't like me now, and I don't got, but then that goes back to the whole power thing and the love thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're that person that is the leader, or like the, the captain of the ship, or the leader, like you can't be scared to rub people the wrong way.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm not giving no reparations. Mm-mm.
You think it's going to look like Dave Chappelle's vision of reparations? Did you ever see that episode?
Was it on the Chappelle show?
Yes.
You know what's so crazy? I'm gonna tell you something, right? And people kill me for this. I never really watched the Chappelle show. I'm a Martin guy. Martin is my show. Martin, maybe sometimes the Wayans Brothers, maybe sometimes the Fresh Prince, maybe sometimes the Jamie Foxx show. But like, I can tell you every word and every line and every scene of every Martin episode. Like, that was my show. Martin, The Boondocks is my other go-to.
Of course.
Family Guy,
Mm-hmm.
Shark Tank is one of my other favorite shows, and sports, of course, and cooking shows, and The Flavor of Love. Me and my grandmother's favorite show was The Flavor of Love. That was me and my grandmother's show.
Totally. I wish my Nana would have got to see that. I think she'd enjoyed that so much.
And Cops. Me and my grandmother, that was our 3 shows. Cops, Flavor of Love, and Drivers, Dives, and Dines with Guy Fieri, where he goes all around the world and stops at different restaurants. Those are our 3 shows right there. Yeah, definitely.
You're producing your own bioepic. 28-year-old Preem walks in. What's your theme song? Introducing you on the screen.
Hove, Jay-Z. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. What's that song, Space?
What's the name of it?
The Rock Boys in the building tonight. Oh, what a feeling I'm feeling. That, depending on, like, I'm telling you, I'm different people, different days. And then Kanye, la, 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 wait till I get my money right. That one. And then I got a lot of songs. Young Thug might be one day. Future might be another day. But let's just stay with Kanye and Hove. I'm gonna just stay with Kanye and Hove.
Kanye and Hov.
Yeah,
Great picks.
yeah.
Define gangster.
To condense my long answer, my long-winded answer, gangster is just doing what you say you're gonna do. Wherever that might fall, if you say you're gonna do something, you gotta do it. You gotta, like my uncle always say, we from the show me state. We from Missouri. You gotta show me. Whatever it is, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get that, that's gangster to me. You gotta do what you say you're gonna do. So, in my short, condensed, straight to the point answer is, you just gotta be a man of your word.
Show and prove.
Absolutely.
And that is Supreme Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
God bless.